afternoon, this is RFC MkIA with the latest in my flight reports from the game Birds of Steel, played on Xbox 360. I do my flight reports for online games, and currently I'm playing in the Mustang MkIA. I'm trying to earn some skins for that plane. The Mustang MkIA, as I understand it, was an American-produced plane, initially sold to the British. They sold it the Mark I version. The Mark IA version apparently was an upgrade to an earlier version because it had 4 wing-mounted cannons on it. And in this game, those cannons are quite destructive. They don't run out of ammo very quickly, and they can tear a plane apart if you get them dialed in appropriately. The Mustang, I find, is a very difficult plane to fly in the very beginning because it is slow to take off. You are a sitting duck when you lift off the airfield, and you have to spend some time working for your altitude. So as per my difficult to take off with planes, I will circle my airfield in order to try to gain a bit of energy. Here I have circled the airfield, and I've gotten about 1,000 feet here, which is not nearly what I normally like to have, but I'm headed off towards the center of the field. This game came from last Saturday night. It was the last game from Saturday night. I think I played this one sometime around 2 or 2:30 in the morning. It was a pretty good crowd of people playing. There were 2 or 3 other players in this game. I don't remember. I had played a lot of games that night, so I don't remember who was playing that late at night. But shortly after taking off from my airfield, I checked my map and discovered that there was an enemy plane headed straight from my airfield, so I knew that it was a bomber of some sort. I knew there was an enemy bomber flying, and this is an HE-111, and I took a few lucky long-distance shots and hit the fuel tank of that HE-111 from distance and caught the plane. It disappeared on the way down, which tells me that that was a player flying and that they quickly jumped into the next plane before their plane hit the ground. What isn't clear to me is I don't think I was awarded with a kill for that. I'm not quite positive, but it appears that I did enough damage to knock the plane out of the sky. So even if the game didn't award me any kills, I'll go ahead and take the kill for that one. I'm going to go ahead and apologize now for the stutteringness of the video. I'm still not quite sure what the stuttering comes from. One has the option at the end of a game to save the game onto their hard drive, which I usually do. Unfortunately, when you save a game to the hard drive, it kicks everybody else out of the game. You can only save a game if you're the host, so typically I'll only save the very last game of an evening. And so I save this into the hard drive, and then when I go to replay it, it seems to have the stuttering. And the stuttering that you see here is not present during the game. It only seems to be either during playback, so I don't know if it's during the recording process or if it happens during the playback process. Here I'm following an AI wingman and a gladiator, and see that he's after somebody, so I'm looking to steal his kill from him. Took a shot, missed him, and there I goofed. The Mark I is a difficult plane to turn in, and it's very easy to stall out if you're not careful. I spent a lot of games earlier this night stalling out, nearly hitting the ground, but managed to take a look at what I'm chasing. It's an Italian G50, so it's almost certainly an AI flying that. He's flying low for some reason, so I pull in behind, and a quick shot with those cannons tears him to pieces. While this plane has great cannons, what it does not have great up is an engine, and it's very difficult to catch up to a lot of the later war planes. Earlier in that evening, I spent a lot of time chasing around the 109K planes. There's also the Focke-Wulf 190 planes are very fast. Some of the later ones are very fast and difficult to catch up to. So I spent a lot of my time chasing planes and not actually getting them. So I was glad to have 2 kills right off the bat in this game. And here there's one plane chasing another, so I went to go look to see if I could figure out who it was that was chasing and who was being chased. One of the planes has flown low over the hill, over the city, and so I'm looking to see if I can find a good target, checking my map and looking to find a good target. I made a mistake earlier in this evening, not checking my 6 very much, and here I've spotted a bomber. And I started to go after it, and then I realized it was taking off from my own airfield. So instead of pulling up and taking a quick shot at it, I let it go. And but clearly somebody is back there over my airfield. You can see some chasing going on. You can see the flak from the guns. So I'm heading back to the airfield to try to catch up. One way of building speed is to dive down a little bit. So here I'm sacrificing altitude for speed in an attempt to get back and save my airfield. Looks like a bunch of the ground units there are burning or smoking, And so whoever has done this to me has done a pretty good job of tearing up the airfield. And so I'm on the prowl for them, or check the map to see where they are, and then stay low and scan for them. And when it moves by me, I climb and make a turn, looking to get back on the tail of whatever it was that's out here. There's up in the distance we've spotted, it's a BF 109. I think this was a G model. I'm not entirely positive about that. I forget which camo schemes go with which, but I should have anticipated turning with him, and instead I decided to go for a shot, and I can't do a sharp turn or I'll lose my energy, but he rose up and reversed. I reversed, and I managed to get the points for the kill there. Now what I'm not sure is whether my wing clipped his wing and I had the stronger wing and therefore lived, or if that little burst I took at the last second was ripped his wing off before he got there. But I've watched the replay a few times, and it appears that his left wing does indeed shred off, and I have no damage on my wing. When I was flying at the time, I was pretty sure that I might have hurt my own wing, but nothing seems to have happened. So I'll go ahead and take that kill, which gives me 3 kills, and not too bad for a big start. Two of those are player kills. So now I'm headed back to the center of the field, looking to climb over the city of Ruhr, and looking for any other enemy aircraft in the skies. Again, the stutteringness of the plane is being frustrating, and I just watched one of the dials shoot up quickly, so apparently the dial reading also was stuttering in some kind of way. And here up above you can see a black dot that I'm headed towards, thinking that it might be an enemy plane. Slowly gaining altitude. And I found myself unable to reverse quickly enough, and spotted another plane anyway. I tried a snapshot and couldn't get it. I try to reverse onto this plane and get on his tail. Keep an eye on him. I've had a little bit of luck at hitting something from distance with these wing guns, these cannons. But here I'm consistently firing behind the plane, not taking it into advantage, my turning velocity, and unable to lead that enemy plane. You can also see as I start to make the turns, the cockpit shakes a little bit. At this point it's out of energy and cannot climb. I've lost energy, can't climb anymore, so I've got to drop the nose and let that target go. It seems to have escaped from me, so my lack of energy in an attempt to climb after this guy left me at a good altitude position, but it left me in a bad position as far as chasing the enemy. And I did a bit of looking around here just to make sure that he wasn't coming after me. He didn't reverse in some way and come after me, but my suspicion was whatever that plane was did not know where I was and was unable to find me. One way of making sure that you don't lose too much energy when you turn is to dive a little bit in your turn to keep the energy up, but then you've got to straighten out, regain back a little bit of altitude if you don't want to stall out completely. The Mustang Mark 1A is not a plane to engage in turn fighting if you can all help it. So there's still some action going on back towards my own airfield, so I head back that way. And you can see the flak following a small dot up ahead who is racing very quickly towards my airfield. So I try to pull a lead turn here and stay my nose in front of where he's going, and he climbs back up there. Starts to turn, so I anticipate and I start running a lead angle on him in the other direction. Again, I thought it might be possible to get a snapshot from a distance on an angle, but I couldn't, so I reversed. That plane again hits a ground target. see his turn and I'm unable to shoot, and he has outturned me. So it's that same BF-109, that camo color scheme there. And here he's able to turn up or behind me in a way that I wasn't able to. So I invert and flip. You can see down below there he is. I try a shot. He's turned inside my shot. The trick here is to try not to complete the turn because I'm going to crash into the trees. Set up my angle to find him again. And we are now on the opposite sides of a circle. It was clear to me at this point that he didn't know where I was, so I dived down to sharpen my turn a little bit, and I am now catching up to him. He's totally zoned in on the ground units, and I know that when he goes to make a run on the ground units, he's going to stop his turn and flatten out, which is going to give me a chance to catch up on the turn. So I complete the circle, flatten out, and sure enough, there he goes. He's just hit another ground target. I was happy to see that the ground target flames and fire were actually working in this replay. They sometimes don't. And now he has fled, heading back towards his own base. And he's being kind of smart in that he's staying very low against the trees, because that makes these planes very difficult to see. If one wants to be able to see them fairly well highlighted against the sky, you've also got to fly low, which puts you at a risk of crashing your plane into the trees. And he also makes a defensive flight through the industrial plant. I try for a desperate shot, try to hit him. He banks left. I try not to hit anything, and he makes a mistake here by rolling and then reversing back to his left again, and I'm able to slide it behind him and set up for my fourth kill for the game. Not too bad, and this unlocked me the next Mustang skin.